Your motorcycling wife, buying a bike for her and also for you. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. This is a motorcycle channel for test rides, tips and fixes, and all the latest news and discussion points from the motorcycling world. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell for all future videos and news, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all the latest news and specs on motorcycles. So you want to buy a motorcycle for his and her riding, you know, a couple's riding. Husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. You want to buy a bike that you'll like as a rider, but also having your wife on the back. Now, I say this in the most general terms, of course, wife on the back, because it could be the wife is the rider and the husband is going to go on the back, of course. But let's be honest, in most cases, it's going to be a man riding, and if his wife or girlfriend doesn't ride, then they'll be the pillion passenger, okay? However, it works both ways. So, how are you going to buy a bike that's going to satisfy what you want out of a motorcycling experience, but also will satisfy hers as well? It really depends what kind of bike you're looking for. But the number one thing that you should never do is go and test ride the motorcycle by yourself. You need to have yourself and your wife, or as roles reversed, on that bike at the same time. You both need to go and test ride that bike. You both need to see whether it's going to be suitable for you as a rider and also for the passenger as well. Are they comfortable? Do they feel secure? Is there going to be enough storage space if it's going to be a touring motorcycle for both of you? Is it easy to get on and off the bike? Those kinds of issues are real issues that you have to factor in. The best way to determine whether this bike is going to be right for you or not is for both of you to test ride it at the same time. Now, there's nothing to say that you as a rider can't go and test ride this by yourself first of all, then take some feedback back to your wife or your husband, as the case may be, of course, and then you can say, right, I've test ridden this bike, I think it's a really good bike, we should go and test ride it together. There's nothing wrong with that. But in the end, at some point, you've both got to test ride this. And this is a conversation that you'll have to have with your dealership, with your salesman as well, to say, look, I want to test ride this bike, but I also need to test ride it with my partner as well. You also may want to look at an extended test ride with your dealership or with your salesman. Instead of just taking it out for half an hour or an hour, you'll say to them, hey, listen, I really like to take this for half a day, or in some cases, can I take it out for a whole weekend? It really depends on the availability. It really depends on what restrictions they might have as well. So this is something well worth looking into and investing both of your time to go and test ride this bike and see if it works for you as well. Now, again, in most cases, if we're talking about a rider and a wife riding scenario, or a couple's riding scenario, that's probably a better way of saying it, a couple's riding scenario, then most of the time we're kind of talking about some kind of touring capable motorcycle, or as comfortable to ride two up, let's say. It's less likely that you'll want to go through this procedure for a sports bike, for example, or for, let's say, a dirt bike, or for a smaller bike. But of course, that can happen as well. So if it's any bike that's touring capable, or it's like a big adventure bike, or it's a good touring bike that's got side boxes on it, that kind of thing, that's the kind of bike that you really want to invest your time in making sure that your partner who's going to go on the back, whether it's your wife, whether it's your husband, whether it's your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, they're going to be happy sat on there as well. You also got to look at the features of the bike as well, whether it's got built-in entertainment, radios, whether it's got heated seats, that kind of thing, especially if you're riding in winter months, whether it's got auxiliary power ports, so things can be powered from the rear seat as well. If you've got an onboard radio, are there speakers in the back? What about the seating position of the pillion seat? Are they sitting a little bit higher than the rider, or are they sitting lower? How does it work with your natural height? Are you a really tall rider and is your partner shorter, or are they a lot taller? So it really depends. So you may have to make adjustments to the seating, or see if there are alternatives to the seating to get that just right. Also the foot position as well, whether you've got foot pegs, foot rests, or whether you opt to change those out if you haven't already done so, if they're not standard with a bike of course, whether you change them up for floorboards. So you can have foot pegs, foot rests, or floorboards. So that is something that you might want to consider, especially if you're buying a bike that you want to tailor for your riding, but also when you're carrying your partner as well. So you might find that you'll have to make some modifications to the bike or some standard accessorizing so that it works for you. But you're not going to know that until you're both riding that bike. So have the conversation with your dealership, have the conversation with your salesman, make sure that there's a bike available, and if there isn't one available, then find somewhere else that has one available that you can both test ride, or go to the manufacturer and see if there's a way of doing an online test request. Then the nearest dealership should be able to phone you up when they have a demonstration bike that you can go for a test ride. Now, if it's a used bike, you might not be able to take the bike out for an extended period of time and do a lot of mileage on it. However, if it's a demonstrator bike, you might be able to say to them, I really need to test ride this bike for an hour or 2 hours on a longer journey to see how comfortable we're going to be. They may allow you to do that, or they may impose a mileage restriction on it. Again, if a bike gets a lot of mileage on it, then obviously the value is going to go down as well. So they may be a little bit more reserved in allowing the bike to go out for long mileage. But shorter mileage, sure, I'm sure there'll be no problem at all. These are discussions that you're going to have with your salesman, your dealership, and also to see whether the stock configuration of that bike or whether a slightly altered version is going to be the best one for you. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. But say if you're really buying a motorcycle for yourself and your wife as a Pillion, or your husband or your partner, whatever it is, and you're buying a bike that most of your riding in the future is going to be for both of you as a couple, you're going to go on a long tour, you both really need to be happy with that bike and as comfortable as you possibly can be. The worst scenario is that you like the bike but your wife hates it, or your partner hates it, and you're probably going to find that they won't want to come on the bike with you in the future, or they certainly won't want to go on the long rides. You've kind of ruined the future enjoyment of your riding together. So getting this is key for both of you, so you're both safe and you can really enjoy it together as well. Anyway, hope you found that useful, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell for all future videos and news, and also don't forget to check out the website RevelatorAlf.com for all the latest biking news and specs. And I'll catch you again, another video coming very soon. Bye now.